And we're live. It is Wednesday, the 17th day of September, which is one day before the 18th day of September, and one day after the 16th day of September for those of you who have lost the ability to count. It is the year of our Lord 2025. It is 8 o'clock a.m. And folks, I have a dream. I have a dream that today is going to be the day that for the first time we cross 40 live viewers. I don't know if we can do it. We've never gotten above 38, but
We're close. You picked the wrong day to have a
no,
dream.
no, no, but we never are at 8:01. I'm
Oh.
hoping that by 8:10,
Oh, okay.
8:15, it's going to happen today, people. And to cheer you on in this endeavor, I want to tell you a fable, a parable, what's destined to become a legend of uh, maternal love and devotion, and also of friendship and obligation and mania. Um, and
Say it. Heroism.
it's a story of heroism, or heroinism, as the case may be. Um, uh, and, you know, I'm talking, of course, about my colleague, Holly Berkley Fletcher. And what, of course. And let me tell you a little bit about what Holly did last night, because and this involves a rock star from Ireland whom I've never heard of before. We'll call him Mr. Hosier. Um, and Holly's daughter and a friend of hers wanted to go to a Hosier concert. And so Holly drove them to the Hosier concert and was going to go herself. But then, as those of you who live in the DC area know, it was pouring rain. And we are above 40 right now. We are at 41. And
Our
40,
age. I'm like, we're well above 40.
well, we're well above 40. We're at 42 right now, but
Wow.
I think
Oh,
people are
going down.
cheating
People are
because I
leaving.
think people opened multiple tabs to juice our
Oh.
numbers, and I don't think that that counts. So, Nick, nice try. Thanks for your efforts, but we're really still at 28. Um, all right. So Holly goes to the Hosier concert with
Which
her
is in
daughter.
way the hell out in Virginia, by
Yeah,
the way.
which was way the hell out in Virginia. And she, in the pouring rain, decides, okay, we're not going to not go. But I also don't want to, be outside in the giant storm that God is unleashing upon the DMV. And so here is what she did. She sat in her car by herself while her daughter and said friend went to the Hosier concert, and she waited, and she texted me that she was there and was all by herself, and it was and that it was gonna be a late night. And you can see her yawning right now because it was a late night for Holly, sitting alone in her car. And here's the truly heroic. So that part was heroic enough. But then at approximately 7:30 this morning, uh, Holly was awake. And she didn't want to come on the show. I promise you, this is not one of those overeager Holly situations, though we do know that those happen. This is not one of them. This is more of a situation where Holly uh, woke up. I think there may have been in a panic, realizing that if she was too tired from her late night maternal act of devotion to show up on the show today, I might be left alone. And so the DSTV listserv text thread was alive with Holly checking in with everybody to see who was going to show up today and to make sure that I was not by myself because she was trying to get out of it. She really was. She was, if anybody else was had stepped up to the plate and was going to be here, Holly would have stayed in bed. But this is one of those days where everybody had something to do. I mean, we're not like going to name names or anything, but Nastia's busy writing something, and Alicia, who knows? But she said she couldn't come, and Mike Feinberg has just vanished into the ether, and so Holly dragged herself out of bed, and um and she dragged herself out of bed, and she came on the show. She's hiding behind the cactuses so that you can't see the sleep deprived dreariness that she doesn't want to be here. But folks, she is here for you, all 31 of you, which is 9 short, notwithstanding Nick's valiant efforts to juice my numbers. We do honest accounting here at Dogshirt Daily. And Holly didn't merely set the standards of wet motherhood last night, but she's
nursing my children like I'm like a wet is a wet mother like a wet nurse. I don't know.
No, a wet mother is a mother sitting in a damp car at a Hozier concert,
They came back looking like
waiting for hours while her extremely wet child and her child's friends enjoy themselves. And
yeah, it was anyway. Yeah.
And then showing up the next day, and this is the standard of citizenship that we want from all of you. Uh, it is a matter to generate praise. And here is some praise for Holly from John Hawkinson.
Good morning, Ben. It's Hozier, apparently.
No, everybody says Hozier.
Well, we're talking about the UK artist. I did find a definitive video in the chat where there's many clips of him saying his name in response to very embarrassed people.
Well, Americans do not call him that. So
Well, I just want to say on this show, he's lucky to not be Hozier, because I do not respect, or Hosier.
he's actually
I
quite
do not
good.
respect rock stars' preferred pronunciations, just as a general matter. Just like some people do not respect people's choice of pronouns. Um, it's some people respect this sort of thing, not me. Bay once gets Bay once, Hosier gets Hosier. And anyway, John Hawkinson, you're diverting me from
Sorry.
my point.
Holly is great because she sat in her car like a wet rat instead of going into the concert and blew a ticket for the privilege.
No, I didn't. I wasn't wet. That was the point of staying in the car, is that I was not wet.
Yeah, Holly was merely damp.
I was
see.
yeah, I was
I'll resist.
high and dry.
I'll resist the temptation to talk about how wet rats are not like wet people, and for them the wet means something different. And so metaphorically, you could be a wet rat without being wet.
John, I say this with all the love in my heart. You need to get a life, friend. Go to a concert. Go mix with normal people your age who know nothing.
Now, I would
Go
like
to Taco Bell. I don't know, friend. You know, how old are
Holly,
you?
can
Are
you
like
can you
30 years
define that
old?
age range?
Are
when
you
people
like
know
30 years
nothing.
old, John? What are you?
Because
Tell
I'm
me your
24,
age.
so I'm not sure where I
No,
fall.
no, you have a life.
You're well,
You have a very busy
but
life.
you are well beyond the
Although,
age at which people, well
Nastya,
below the age at which people
now
know
I'm kind of
things.
angry at you, Nastya, because not only have you apparently interrupted a bout of brilliant writing um, to
But
be
you've
here, but
defied.
also like I came because you were not coming, and now you're here, and it's like, why am I here?
Well,
But
so
back
all
to
right, we got to finish the
yeah, we
story
do
here
because this
because
is
there's
really
a
going off the
coda
rails.
to the story, which is I've been, the story of Holly's heroism today. Um, I'm just going to read you from the exchange between Holly and Nastya on the thread this morning. Um, when I asked who was coming, I said maybe it's a Nastya day. And Nastya responded, I'm having a writing breakthrough, so I'm afraid I can't. Though maybe in 30 minutes I'll decide I'm a terrible writer again and will join. And Holly responded, I want one of those. Um, and to which I responded, You're a terrible person, Nastya, and you will be punished for it in the next life. And that, as it turned out, was all it took to guilt Nastya into showing up, because she responded, Jesus, okay, I'll come. And Holly, being older and wiser, said, Gee whiz, Nastya, you don't have to. Don't let him control you. To which Nastya responded, He knows I'm weak and easily manipulated. And Holly said, Exactly, so be strong. In other words, Holly tried. She really tried in a final act of heroism to protect Nastya from exactly the scenario that has played out, which is she gets guilted into showing up, and then I tease her about it. But Nastya fell for it completely because in her heart she actually wanted to be here. All of which is a 12-minute long way of saying that the
only 12
sun,
minutes. It felt like a
it
lifetime.
felt like a lifetime. The sun is not shining. It is still raining and unpleasant here in Washington. But
Also in Kyiv.
also in Kiev, the birds are chirping. And if you like projections of on Windsor Castle, it's going to be a great frickin' day because cactuses.
You're watching Dog Shirt TV, a forking revolution in morning television. Dog Shirt TV, a forking revolution in morning television.
You are watching Dog Shirt TV, and it is a goddamn revolution in morning television. And one of the revolutionary features, of which there are many, is that you can watch Nastya eat yogurt live.
Ice cream.
Ice
Is
cream.
this rude? I'm sorry, I'm having a
No,
bad
no,
day.
it's
That's a joke.
it's
There's probably
excellent.
like a
There's a
Okay.
porn
history of
channel
this.
where you watch someone eat your.
Yeah. And another one of the revolutionary features, of which there are many, is that sometimes I will use the first 13 minutes of the show to praise one of my co hosts for ordinary acts that become extraordinary in the context of texting about them. All of which is a long winded way of saying that we are not allowed to have fun anymore, but we are allowed to have Holly and Nastya, both of whom, in very different ways, are here out of senses of obligations to you. And that's 33 of you, which is not 40.
Ben, I was really just here to make sure you knew about the Windsor Castle news. So, that in mind, I think I shall depart. I'll let Holly know, though, I attempted to buy Ariana Grande tickets and failed. So, you can make of that what you will.
Well, I will just
How?
say,
That's good. Ariana Grande is fine. How old are you, seriously, John Hawkinson? I
I,
must know.
I'm old enough to not announce it on the internet, but I'm dangerously approaching my double quarter century mark.
Well, I will just say
That's a lot of
as
math
to
for me to do this
as
morning.
to the Windsor Castle operation, led by Donkeys, which is a British protest group that did that. They are also the good folks responsible for that operation of pouring a very large quantity of paint into the streets, blue and yellow paint in front of the Russian embassy in London, and having lots of people drive over it and spread it into a Ukrainian flag. It was pretty awesome. They are the gold standard of good humored protests in the world, in my opinion.
But not legal ones, apparently.
No, no, no. They don't. They are known to brave arrest for their protests. I think there were arrests for the giant paint protests too. They
Yes,
also,
they were.
here's the thing that I don't understand about them, which is how they fund it. Because a projector capable of an image of that size and that brightness is a tens of thousands of dollars piece of
Wow.
equipment. I've looked into them. I bought one used, which some of you will remember was the big ass projector, and I couldn't actually maintain it. They're pretty substantial pieces of equipment to operate. And so I am actually befuddled by how Led by Donkeys affords this.
Maybe
But
that's here as a rental.
I have never managed to rent one of that size.
I mean,
Um,
yeah.
but I've tried. Um,
Yeah, or some of them are probably like some kind of royalty, like what else are they doing?
I
They're
don't know.
probably members
Maybe
of
they're
the
secretly funded by
That
the
would be
GR.
awesome.
I was going to say they're secretly funded by the GRU, except then they wouldn't be doing pro-Ukrainian protests.
well, they
I
wouldn't be doing
honestly
Trump
don't
protests.
know.
They wouldn't be
Maybe
They're
they're funded by GUR, which is GUR in Ukraine.
yeah. Although whether
I
GUR has the
everybody's a
resources
member of
to
the royal family. I mean, there's like 1 million members of the royal family.
That's true.
anyway, I suggest you go to their website and donate because they are the pros at what I dabble in,
Speaking of,
and I think they're awesome.
okay, that's a great transition. I actually did come with a real mission today, and that is I received in the mail a gift for you and for me, Ben. One for me, one for you. I will give it to you next time I see you. From a member of the Greek chorus.
Whoops, I just muted Holly by mistake. I
Oh,
meant to pin Holly so that we could see the gift, and I
yeah.
accidentally muted her.
So anyway,
She will not be
a
silenced.
member of the Greek chorus and a friend of mine who is like a great American, does all kinds of pro democracy volunteer work. Melissa, are you in the Greek chorus? You could come on and say hi. Actually, she's still technically a fed for another couple weeks, so we won't make her come on.
Mm.
But she sent me and you each one of these, and it says, can you see it?
It says, "Born to dilly-dally, forced to fight fascism." Wait, lower it slightly because I'm going to take a screenshot of it and it's ever so slightly more. Good. Hold it right there. We're going to get a screenshot and it is going to be the good morning image on Dog Shirt Daily today. Got it.
Yours is brown, mine is gray, but otherwise they are both the same. And yeah, I love it. That is exactly what I feel our vibe is around here. And because I was born to do nonsense. Like that, if I do anything that is serious in any way, or like, professional, that's just because life requires that of me. But I was truly born to dilly-dally.
See,
And
Nastia
to
was
just,
born to, I think Nastia's version of it is born to go shopping, forced to fight Russia.
Why go shopping?
I don't know. You're always talking about going shopping for things.
What? Okay.
It's partly because when you're in the States, you're availing yourselves of
Well,
shopping.
Oh,
that's
well,
what you do
obviously you guys
here.
have Sephora and we don't. What else is there to do
Yeah.
for me in Washington, D.C.? You gotta go
See,
shopping
that's
for
what I
makeup.
see. I rest my case.
The older I get, the more I want to just get rid of everything I own because it requires cleaning and maintenance, and I'm just
Yeah,
kind of
the
boring.
trick there is just not doing it.
I know. I'm trying not to buy things, especially not clothes. Every time I decide like, oh, I need clothes, I go online and I look. And first of all, and I recognize I'm old and I don't understand the trends, but all the clothes are particularly ugly right now, I have to say, in my opinion. That means I'm not stylish. It means I'm old and not stylish, granted. But in my opinion, I do like Bowden, Alice. Bowden is actually my kryptonite. But then the second thing I say to myself, for the first thing I say to myself is, all the clothes they are selling are ugly.
My emu shirt really objects to your suggestion that
But the second thing I say to myself is, where the hell are you gonna wear that? Like your life is meant for stretch pants and that's it, and t-shirts. So basically I have channeled all of my shopping energy into t-shirts such as these that dear Melissa has availed us. This is
well,
perfect.
Melissa, you are a
I'm
great
gonna collect them.
American, and I thank you for the Dilly-Dally shirt, which I will wear on the show as soon as I get it.
We should coordinate. We can
We should
both
coordinate.
wear.
We can both
I'll
do
probably
it.
see you this weekend. I was just going to text you about that. So actually, I will see you, but I'm not going to bring it to the law fair shindig because
Oh, well, I have to wear a dog shirt to the. So we are having our
no,
15th anniversary event on
no,
Friday.
which I'm
And
going to. I could pass it off to you there, but I don't want you to have to keep track of
and
it.
we are it is the Give Nastia FOMO event of the season.
It's so
Um
unfair that
and
you guys don't want to spend thousands of dollars to fly me in for 24 hours. My
um
job sucks, guys. I'm just saying that now.
yeah. So look, folks, if you want to come to the Lawfare event, um and the ticket price seems a little steep and you can't do it, send me a message.
Oh,
We'll,
now you
Does
tell
that
me,
include me?
man.
no, we're not paying anybody's airfare. No,
Man, now you tell me. I shelled out the full price.
no,
I did ask you if it was tax deductible,
it's
which
the week before, you know. We still have a few spaces, and if people, if it's too much, let us know. We will take care of you. Hey, folks, Nastia, what's on your mind this morning?
I'm kind of having a bad-ish day because it's like the first disgusting rain day of the season, when there's insane traffic because everyone forgot that rain exists and now everyone is late and it's all sad and, you know. So yeah, and then I have a terrible headache. But apart from that, I did have a writing.
when I did the heroic thing, you should.
Okay, Holly, get over yourself. We're both here. We're both great. let's just do that.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Well, Ben, you did tell me I was a terrible person. I think our bar has been lowered today.
I just future tip. If I ever really think you're a terrible person, my way of expressing it will not be to tell you so directly on a public listserv.
Okay.
It'll be
It's slightly more subtle than that.
it'll be a little subtler than
Okay.
that. Like, maybe not responding promptly to your messages or something.
Okay, well, that's very sad because now I'm rethinking every single time you were late responding to my messages. I'm
I'm
gonna
never
think you
late.
do. Sometimes you are. In fact, there was a moment where you literally, I thought you died or something, but in fact you were just covering the Trump trial, and you were off the
Oh,
grid.
yeah, like if I'm in
It's wild.
court and I don't have my phone,
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
it's not like I don't have other things going on, but I mean not responding at all.
Okay,
And by
nice.
the way, I did die 1,000 times during the stock
During the
trial.
trials.
Um, so, all
Die
right.
every day,
Wait,
man, these days.
I have a fun random fact that I think Holly, but probably also Ben might relate to. So I got another Orwell book because I am indeed a terrible shopper, as Ben points out. When it comes to particular
And
things,
completely obsessed with the writings of George Orwell right now.
yes,
I mean,
yes,
aren't we all? We're all obsessed.
yeah. So I got this. This is great. This is a bunch of his journalism, completely random stuff. And I also have like nearly all of his novels and an essay collection that I already read in a few days. Anyway, so I was reading this, and in the introduction, there was a random fact about how you guys remember that in 1984 there was this room 101 that was like the terrible room where people were tortured or whatnot, and it was like the worst place to
Well,
be in.
and specifically confront where you are made to confront the thing you fear in the world most,
Yes,
if,
yes, like
if
rats
memory
or
serves.
cockroaches or something like that. Yes.
Yes.
Um, and so I read in the introduction that supposedly Orwell, like that the room in the novel was 101 specifically because when Orwell worked for the BBC, and he worked for the BBC for 2 years, and he kind of hated it, and he thought that it was a complete waste of time for him. The room where the BBC had its like committee meetings, so like work meetings, was room 101, and he hated it because it was like a waste of time because you just sit there and talk about nothing. So
I don't like such meetings either.
so many people hate work meetings. I just thought it was hilarious. I sent it to my friend Kat, who like hates work meetings, and I was like, "Look, you and Orwell are besties, apparently." Anyway, that's my random fact for the day.
Do you have a random fact for the day, Holly?
Yeah, actually, I read an article recently. There's a publication called The Continent, that covers Africa. It's a small, they'll actually send it for free right to your email, so it's good. Anyway, they had an article, a long form article, which I didn't read the whole thing, but on Botswana and how the
Botswana, promising democracy success story.
definitely, but their economy is rather reliant on diamonds, and the lab grown diamond industry is a challenge, a serious challenge to Botswana's economy, which I had not considered. Although I will say that Botswana, any economy that's heavily resource based, if they manage things right, their economy becomes rather diversified. And Botswana has done that. And so I don't think it would be it's not quite as devastating as, say if oil, everybody suddenly moved to electric cars and the oil market just completely bottomed out for, like, say, Angola.
Well, not for Angola. It would be awesome for Russia. Sorry.
Well, that
Can
too,
you?
Russia too. But I'm thinking in the African context. Angola is probably even more
Nigeria is
reliant.
pretty oil dependent.
Nigeria is very oil dependent, although I think their economy is more sophisticated than Angola's, for instance. So, but I had not considered that, and it got me wondering about, the lab grown diamond market, and whether and the sort of psychology of buying a lab grown diamond versus a regular diamond. And then that got me thinking of the parallels to me. There's like some parallels to AI versus human. Like
Yeah.
in the future, I feel like in the future, well, first of all, let me say, I think AI is overrated. I mean, based on what Siri can do for me and Alexa and all that.
Okay, Holly, you have to try some smarter.
No. I used Claude this week for a liability form that I needed. So I mean, AI has its place, but in terms of like, wholesale replacing like human beings, I'm skeptical about that. We'll see. But I imagine a future where AI has replaced a lot of human, let's say even books and film and creative enterprises, and that there'll be like a premium for like, come hear a real human sing, like you know what I'm saying?
You are gonna write the next like utopian or anti-utopian novel. The
No,
next
I
1984,
don't know
but with
enough about
AI.
AI, and frankly, I don't want to do the research for that novel. But anyway, that's what I envision is like, come, you'll pay like oh my goodness, like a human being wrote this book, and we can prove it. And so it's like that's it's like an original art form versus a print. Like this is an original Monet versus the poster I can buy at the art gift shop. So anyway, I think there's still hope for Botswana and for humanity, because I do think in a world of lab grown diamonds and AI writers that there
There's
will be.
something about a real person having to suffer mining conditions that that
Well,
that
maybe
we're
okay.
that's the test of authenticity. Did
Well,
somebody have to risk life and limb and
no. Maybe they
respiratory
can use
illnesses?
robots to mine the real diamonds.
So then what's
Yeah.
the difference?
Because
It's
they're from the
basically AI.
earth. They're like from the earth. Anyway, I don't, there's all kinds of absurdities in the market. I mean, the whole art world is pretty absurd. Like what is art? It is, and what is it worth? It's just completely based on whatever. It's
Well,
not based on the components in the art.
diamonds are a particular extreme example of that. That they're, you know, the 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 idea of the culture, the modern cultural associations of diamonds is really quite recent, and it's really a manufactured idea of it's Genevieve DellaFerra, a human diamond who occasionally shows up. Hello, GDF.
Morning, Ben. Hi, everybody. Good morning, Holly. Is
Good
it Nastia?
morning.
I can't see. I think my face is blocking her. Good morning.
Are you in the
GDF, for
carpool
those of
line,
you
GDF?
I
who don't
just got
know
out of
her,
it.
is one of the co-hosts of In Lieu of Fun, and and is officially a co-host of Dogshirt TV, but can generally not come because we are live right in the period in which she is dropping children off at school slash daycare kind of thing. But every now and then we get a GDF day. Hello, how are you?
I'm good. I am really excited to be here.
And
In lieu of fun is to natural diamonds what dog shirt TV is to lab grown diamonds. Like
mm,
the original, the in lieu of
no, I
fun.
think In Lieu of Fun is to Dogshirt TV what um what natural diamonds are to natural sapphires.
All
Okay.
gemstones.
Just different. They're all gems, just a little bit different. So, what is on your mind this morning, GDF?
Well, I have a cat rescue story. So I don't know if we were discussing anything serious before I just popped in, but that's
We were definitely not. We were talking about
Excuse me, but Botswana's economy is facing a dire challenge and possible threat. That is serious business.
yeah, but we had kind of moved on from that to just lab grown diamonds as a comparison to AI, right? Cat rescue story. Let's go.
okay. So about a month ago, it was thundering outside, and we were pulling into our driveway, and we saw this little gray blur that was in the corner of, and I thought it was a rock, but Andrew, my spouse, was like, oh no, I'm pretty sure that was a kitten. And so we saw it climb up into his car engine, and we had been hearing a lot that there were a bunch of kittens in the area that had been in different people's car engines. And so, because of our raccoon fiasco of last year, we have these very large raccoon traps that allowed us to catch the kitten with a can of tuna. And so we caught the kitten, but we didn't think beyond, we don't want the kitten in a car engine. And then it became, well, who's going to care for this kitten? Because it was very small. And the kitten had a lot of personality. It was not a fan of being handled initially and was making it very known. But my children decided to name it Inyoki. And the second a pet is named or an animal is named, you are therefore responsible for it, I believe. And so the second they whipped out...
Inyoki?
Yes. Luke has decided that the cat's name is Inyoki, and there was no changing his mind. There was no other name.
And
no
where
other...
does that name come from?
Aside from being a delicious form of pasta, I'm pretty sure that is the cat's name on Curious George, the cartoon. And so I think he just was like, cat to cat. So now Andrew and I are both very allergic to cats, which created quite the conundrum. And so I was like, okay, we have like a small bathroom that we can keep the cat in, because also cats and toddlers are not a great combo, especially feral kittens and toddlers. Like, all noises, not the jam, apparently. And so what we ended up doing was we started just sitting with the cat, seeing if we could tolerate the allergens and also get it used to us. It was a similar experience for both creatures. She warmed up very quickly. It became clear we could not keep her. And very fortunately, I don't know if you'd call him my brother-in-law, because he's not my brother-in-law, but he's my sister-in-law's brother. What is the proper name for that? Is there one?
See, this is why Yiddish has the word michatanen. But I don't know.
Yeah. So I'll just say
Brother-in-law's
brother-in-law.
sister.
Relative.
Sister-in-law's brother.
Yeah. So for purposes of the story, my brother-in-law saw a picture of the cat, and he is a cat dad, very proud cat dad, excited about the kitten. And we had taken her to the vet, got all the shots done, and I think we may have introduced soulmates to each other, because within 3 minutes, he was holding her. She was purring and like the happiest cat in the world. And so now Inyoki is safe in a house where the kids can see her occasionally, and it's a happy ending, which we don't get a lot of these days.
Wow, that's great. And I have to say, Luke's instinct for naming pets after pasta strikes me as a good one.
I think animals with food names is highly underrated.
Yeah. Well, so Scott Anderson, my colleague, likes to say that you can never go wrong with a dog name if you name it after some other animal or anything you can eat for breakfast.
Oh, a dog named Waffles would be amazing.
So waffle, muffin, omelet.
Omelet.
Omelet's
I mean, look,
Please, nobody name their pet Omelet.
You get some weird dog names, but so look, I think Inyoki is I like it. Count me with Luke.
Oh, and we tried. We were like, well, what about rigatoni or something else? He's like, no, it's Inyoki.
Wow. All right. Well, I am all for cat rescue as long as I don't have to do it, because I am allergic to cats, and doing a cat rescue with a cat allergy, I gotta say, I'm not sure if it quite rises to the level of Holly's heroism today, but it's pretty good.
I did have
So
a moment where
Nastia,
I was like, this is what KK must feel like when the animals just come to her.
yeah. Um, yeah, for those of you who don't remember Kate's cormorant rescue on live on the show, we also had a whole hive of bees once. Uh, yes, and you know, these are great highlights in the history of the show. Um, all right, well, we have 20 more minutes. Nastia, what is on your mind this morning other than George Orwell?
Literally not much. Um, it's him and then the article for which I had a breakthrough, which I mean I wrote like a paragraph and the breakthrough ended, but that's okay.
And
That's
what's the article?
well, the one that I'm writing for Lawfare about the sort of taking stock of the peace efforts, and why they're, you know, utterly failing and what's wrong with them. So, doing a lot of thinking about what I'm actually trying to say, which is a really good advice for writing. Before you write anything, figure out what you're trying to say.
Yeah, you know, people often think they have writer's block when what they actually have is
They just
thinker's
don't know.
block.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, you know, it's like trying to to paint without paint. Um,
pretty much. Yeah.
so
Um,
Genevieve, what else is up with you these days?
Um, a lot. I feel like a lot, but nothing that I can actually articulate in a clear way because my brain is just so task oriented that if anything deviates from my calendar, I'm lost for the day. And I mean, I think that's just the phase of life with small people, like small children. Like we just had Luke's 4th birthday, which is very surreal. Um, we did a birthday party and we tried to make the Mario Party video game in real life, which also was just when you're trying to get children to play a game, it's funny. We just kind of gave up after the first round and let them just jump on a trampoline, which they were very happy with, which at the end of the day, that's all you want is them to have a good time. But I will advocate for people who have
Excellent.
small children to have breakfast parties because we did a breakfast party and then everyone got home by nap time.
that's so cool. I have a toddler.
Oh
So
yeah, no, it makes it
this is a
so
great
much
idea.
easier.
I like doing brunch because I feel like the expectations are lower for brunch and brunch is easier to cook than dinner. So like when I
Also, I
have
get
to,
home that way for my nap time.
that's right. Yeah, so I like to have people over for brunch because I feel like yeah, it's I'm not, I'm not a chef and I don't think you have to be for people's expectations for brunch to be met.
It made it so much easier because all he wanted were bagels. That's all my kid wanted. I go, what do you want for your birthday? He goes, I want bagels. And I was like, done. And that was it.
I love it when kids want simple things. So
Yeah, it's when they want complex cocktails that you know the party is
it's when they
running.
want to go to a Hozier concert in like Podunk, Virginia, out way
Exactly.
the hell on a weeknight
In a storm.
in a storm. And you think like, oh, hey, the weather's bad. You guys still want to go to the Hozier or Hosier or however you say it concert? And they're like, yes. And then I'm sitting in the car thinking like, surely these girls are gonna get cold and tired and they're gonna come back to the car early.
No.
No, they stayed to the very last song. There were streams of people who did leave early, and got out of the parking lot in a timely fashion, but not my girls. They got there. They stayed for the bitter end. They came soaking wet, and got in my car soaking wet. And then we sat in a line of cars to get out of the parking lot for like 45 minutes. And
It sounds delightful.
I will say this, I got some reading done. I read
Did
the
you read
novel.
Orwell?
No, this is embarrassing. I have never read 1984.
Wow.
I feel like I have though because I've read so much and I've heard so much about it. So anyway, I know I was reading the Addie LaRue book for the book club, which is very good. I'm
It's
quite
quite good.
gripped with it. But I will say it goes on and on. Like I feel like it could be quite a bit shorter. You like I get the point. You know, it's like, okay, I got it. You know, let's you're 300 years old and nobody remembers you. Got it.
I I agree. I also think it has we shouldn't discuss
We
the
shouldn't
book,
discuss it.
but
But anyway, I
it
read
has
that.
some annoying New York writer qualities of like being, oh, I'm the first writer ever to discover writing about New York City. Um
Right.
and that's annoying.
I will
Um
never write
Apparently,
about
it's
New
a
York.
thing. There is like I've discovered that when I was in New York, that there are books about writers who left New York and are sad about it, and there are books about writers
You know,
who write
people
about
are
New York.
obsessed with writing about New York, and I just want to say I'm a native New
Well, that's
Yorker. I grew up there until I was 13. Um, I'm totally fucking
And
over it.
TV shows too are set in New York. It's
Yeah.
because
I
that's
love
where
it.
the center. They're either set in New York or LA because
Or DC.
that's where the industry is. So yeah, there's too many writers and singers. Every pop rock singer has to have a New York song. Taylor
Right.
Swift's got one. It's like, okay, we get it. New York. You know what? If you're fabulously wealthy, New York, I'm sure, is a great place to live. But if you're not, like it, I don't know. I like to visit for a day and then I'm done. So you will never find me writing about New York, but I do find these industries, you know, these sort of elitist industries like publishing, they tend to be rather navel gazing and
Well, because the
insular.
publishing industry is in New York, and
That's right. That's what I'm
they don't
saying.
actually understand that anywhere else is interesting. And by the way, Hollywood, just want to point out to you, stop filming films about DC in Toronto.
Do they
We
really?
see what you're doing.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
know that's
yeah,
not the
yeah.
metro.
Yeah, that's not the
Don't
metro. It's
stop
so
making
true.
up fake
Yeah.
metro stations and filming it in Ontario.
So regarding the
Toronto,
publishing
lovely
industry,
city. I love Toronto. It looks nothing like DC. You're not fooling anybody.
You really
yeah,
can though, because Toronto is fucking ugly. Excuse my
it
language.
I have
Compared
to
to
agree
DC.
with that. I have been to
Compared to
Toronto
DC.
and I was like really underwhelmed. I was like, what is
Exactly.
Hey,
this?
we're not bashing our Canadian besties
Okay,
on
all
this
right.
show.
There's better cities in
They get
Canada.
enough of it from the
Look,
administration.
I lived in
We're,
Vancouver. I can
Vancouver is
profess my love
nice.
for Canada
Yeah, yeah.
we're
anytime.
but we're not bashing Ontario
Okay,
because
anyway,
Alicia
whatever.
may be watching, and
I
but
forget
look,
what my original point was at this point.
the point is stop fetishizing New York.
Oh, okay. So I have a funny story for you. Not about New York per se, but about the insular publishing industry via my great aunt BJ, who was a character like big time. I could regale you with Aunt BJ stories like all day, but I will just tell you one. And not surprisingly, for a woman, she's now dead. For a woman of a certain age from Texas, she was, oh, you know, a tad racist and bigoted. So, and she loved to read. She always had a book with her at all times. Family gatherings, she would sit there and read when she got tired of people. And so one time I was at my grandmother's house and she was there and I asked her what she was reading and she told me it's always some sort of Danielle Steele thing or whatever. And then she volunteered. She said, I never read the New York Times bestsellers because they are always about Jewish mothers and daughters, and I don't care anything about that.
Well,
What?
you'll be pleased
Ross,
What does
you'll
that
be
mean?
pleased to know, Holly, that I was at the dog park the other day with the dogs, and I was eavesdropping on a conversation between three guys. One of whom, the one who said this, by the way, not white, um, and he declared that his grandmother read a lot of history, and she always told him that the blacks got enslaved because they were, and that word was inaudible, I couldn't hear it, and the Jews got gassed because they were getting in everybody's head. And so he imagines that the Latins, as he put it, are being deported because they are good thieves. And I thought that was,
What is going on?
just a little bit of
Was
racism
this a
to
black person?
brighten your morning.
Was this a black person?
It was not a black person.
Oh,
I actually do,
Asian?
no, he was
You got to give the
maybe
race. I'm sorry.
Caucasus.
Oh,
I
Um,
love rubbing it in people's faces when they're like super not white, but they say something that's like bigoted or racist.
oh, there's so much of that these
Like
days.
anytime Eric, my husband, who's Crimean Tatar and looks like a Crimean Tatar, and has gone through all sorts of bigotry from the Russians in Crimea, every time he says even anything even remotely like as a joke racist or anything, I'm like, dude, look in the mirror. You're not exactly super white.
well, this wasn't a little bit racist. This was
Yeah, no, this was
Like,
terrible. Yeah. My husband
flamboyantly
doesn't
and
yeah,
flagrantly racist. And
yeah.
the interesting thing about it was that it was in a social situation with two other, I don't know how how these people knew each other, but this was a situation in which I would think you would expect negative feedback from the other folks at the dog park when you say that, you know, these three things, two of which were attributed to his grandmother. Um, but he repeated without apparent disapproval. And so I see this guy every day. And yesterday I was there with my dogs and he was there with his dogs, and I did not greet him.
Fair enough.
I'm not going to confront a stranger about this, but it's just, the sort of thing that I don't really want to have anything to do with. So there
Yeah,
you go.
yeah. There you go. Anyway, yeah. So that was my Aunt BJ. She was really a character, and she didn't read the New York Times bestseller.
Well, can I just tell you that uh, I agree with your Aunt BJ.
Which is why, like, someone mentioned Barbara Kingsolver in the
No, I
comments.
mean,
That's why Barbara Kingsolver is so great, is because she's from Appalachia, and she not only does she write books about Appalachia, but she writes books about missionary kids in the Congo. And it's like, I really wanted her to reply, like, to establish contact with me, because I want to have a like, why did she do the Poisonwood Bible? I have so many questions for her. And I would really like to talk to her, but apparently it's not going to happen. So
well, we should invite her on the show on your
there's no
episode
way
of
of reaching her except through her post office box and her apparently daughter who responds. So,
I can reach her.
Is
oh,
this
well
is this
then.
the famous writer who
Yes, I sent her a copy of my book and I got a letter back from her office
what's
saying,
the
thank you for your book.
what's the book? Is this
She
the
The
wrote,
Poisonwood
she's written
Bible.
many books, but she's written the Poisonwood Bible about a missionary family in the Congo in the
Oh, I think I'm
1950s.
thinking of
Yeah.
somebody else. But
Well, so
Yeah.
I just want to say that I actually agree with your Aunt BJ, although maybe for very different reasons.
Demon Copperhead. Yeah. Demon
Yeah.
Yeah, she wrote
She
Demon
won a
Copperhead
Pulitzer for
too.
that. Yeah.
I agree. I think if you look at the New York Times, I mean, look, it's a reflection not of the New York Times, but of who buys books. But the percentage of books that are, you know, that are in wide circulation that are about a very narrow range of subjects and people. And I don't want to ascribe any conspiracy motives to that because it really is a reflection of who buys books. But, you know, I actually think if I were a uh, old woman in Texas, I would be I would have reason to say, why are, you know, why am I not represented in any of this fiction? Why is it all about why is so much stuff about, Jewish family relations in New York? And I actually feel that way about New York in general. New York is just wildly overrepresented in culture. Um, and I do think that there's and down to the point where you could have set the Addie LaRue book anywhere.
Yeah, and
But
well, it is not only set in New York, obviously. She travels around.
right, just
And
to
I'm
show
like, why
how
do you
well
end up
traveled she is.
in New
Um,
York? So
Yeah,
I
there's
don't know.
people generally write what they know. And again, a lot of these writers are from New York or they, whatever. And so that's why it's New York. And movies and TV too, like sitcoms based in either LA or New York, it's like stop with this. And they're always unrealistic, like the Friends apartment. None of those friends could afford that apartment.
Right.
It's always like wildly unreal. They come up with some ridiculous backstory as to why they might be able to afford the apartment, but come on. And so it's an issue. And so yeah, no, it's a real issue.
Right. Message to all of you producers and showrunners and whatever out there. When you do the DC thing, bother to film it in DC. I know it's more expensive, but we can't take you seriously if you're setting something in our city that we know and you're obviously in Toronto. We just can't take that seriously.
And also, I'm just gonna say it. New York is overrated. Like I just don't.
Holly,
European
okay,
New
is there
European
anything that you
cities are
love
much
that you want
better.
to talk about, Holly? In the past 30 minutes, I can't. Everything you're bringing up, you're like, this sucks. I
Yeah,
hate
New
it.
York is totally overrated. But this reminds me, and I just have to say, one of the worst and I hate books and movies where like, and then the writer or director later says like, I wanted New York to be a character in the. It's like, oh, how original! New York is a character in the movie. So one of the worst movies I think I've ever seen. Maybe some of y'all saw it and remember it. It was it's called Autumn in New York. It is Richard Gere and Winona Ryder, and and it's New York is a character in the film, and it's about an older man who is a player and will not settle down and is emotionally unavailable, and he meets a young whimsical Winona Ryder who is conveniently dying of a terminal illness, and so he can fall mad.
Conveniently for whom, Holly?
That's what we all want in life. A young whimsical dying of a terminal
That's what every
illness.
50-year-old commitment phobe wants is a young, hot, dying woman.
But unimpaired until the moment she died.
Yes, and so yeah, like so he's able to have his fling, and he's able to fall madly in love with her, and only has to maintain a commitment for a period of months, which happens to coincide with autumn in New York, which is such a beautiful time in the world's greatest city, and it's like such a bad movie. I remember it to this day.
Right. Well, can you imagine that as like set in Kansas City or, like autumn in Topeka? Right. Like it. All right, folks, I have an announcement to make. We are going to do the overrated show in which everybody is going to bring to the show
So
the
many
thing
things.
that they think is overrated. And Holly has lots of things she thinks is overrated. She's going to get to choose one. All the co-hosts, we're all
It can't
going to
be New York, apparently.
No, we've already exhausted that subject.
Can it be the entirety of Russian literature? Is that
yeah, but you got to
like
make a
that.
case for it.
no problem? We'll do.
You got to make a case for the fact that Dostoevsky and Tolstoy are not only creatures of 19th century Russian imperialism, but overrated. Whatever you think is overrated, and if you're a member of the audience, bring an overrated thing. This is happening on Monday.
On Monday.
It's the overrated show. Bring your overrated shit.
Just one thing, though. I have to settle on one thing.
Well, you might bring some backups in case other people run out. On tomorrow, Good
On
usage.
tomorrow.
On tomorrow. We are talking Belarus. And we're talking Belarus with Katerina Schmatzina
Oh, good. I love
because
her.
Katya, we tried to get her on when the other day when Minna was, we were talking Belarus with Minna. It just came up organically. We tried to text Katya and get her on. She couldn't come on yesterday, but that day, but she is coming on tomorrow. So tomorrow, everything you ever wanted to know about Belarus, but were afraid to ask. Like, should I go there? Answer: no.
No.
um, and uh, that'll be 23 hours from now, exactly. Until then, thanks to Nastia for being the easiest person in the world to guilt into dropping what she's doing and showing up. Um, thanks to Holly Berkley
For
Fletcher
being an American hero.
for being an American hero, mom of the year, friend of the century. It's yeah. Aren't you supposed to do it this way? Yeah. Um and
Now
then
I'm sad about my characterization. I expect not any of the accolades.
um
I'm just weak. That's all I
yeah,
am.
she's weak. Folks, we're going to be back tomorrow. We're going to be here with Katie. We're going to be talking Belarus. You think life in the United States is looking bleak? Just be thankful you don't live in Minsk. We'll see you later.